Yo guys, Fishing Gen here, back with more Call of Duty Zombies content. Today's episode will be around Zetsubou and Shima, a really underrated and underappreciated map in my opinion in Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies. A controversial pick to be high on someone's list, but with an amazing map layout, unique features such as the spiders, the skull of Nansapui, the KT-4 wonder weapon, and even 2 boss fights. Both a challenging and unique Easter egg as well to go along with it, which I'll go over in this video. I personally love this map and believe it definitely deserves to be debated on the all-time ranking, maybe even top 10 worthy. This is episode 8 of the Zombie series, with my previous episodes all linked in the description below, and on that note, let's get right into it. So I guess first things first, I'm just going to throw it out there and say that this map is incredible and personally a very underrated one in the community from what I've seen. I think that this map has aged incredibly well. I think I've come back to this map literally on several occasions every other year, almost this one stint per year of replaying this map, and at this point I love it. I literally love playing Black Ops 3 Zombies in general, and this map definitely does not get the credit it deserves, and like I said, it has aged really well. I think Black Ops 3 Zombies, in my opinion, is the greatest of all time. BO3 Zombies was already in good hands with Shadows of Evil kicking off the game, setting the bar really high. I think this is already always going to be a great game, and also with arguably the best DLC one with the Horizon Tracker, which is episode 5 for any of you guys that didn't know, and linked in the description below, which is already on the channel, and Zetsubou and Shima as map number 2, and then of course Gorod Krovi as map number 3, which I'll be making a video on shortly for episode 10, so stay tuned and look out for that on the channel, and then of course Revelations as the finale. I think the true peak of Call of Duty Zombies was here in this game, and then of course the game also had other maps too, like the Giant, which is also on the channel, and Chronicle maps and so on, but overall Black Ops 3 in my opinion is the greatest map of Zombies of all time. But I'll be interested to hear if you guys do disagree and why, because is it Black Ops 2, is it Black Ops 1, or even Black Ops 4? Let me know down below in the comments and I'll get back to you, because I want to hear what you guys think if it's not Black Ops 3. I personally think that this game just produced the best maps, and whenever maps are ranked, I think they can be determined by like high round potential, replayability, Easter eggs, boss fights, elemental weapons, map layout, enjoyable features within the map itself, like unique features such as like the KT-4 or the skull of Nansapui on this map, as well as nostalgic elements as well, such as what a map was like in its prime, how it fared against previous maps of its own kind, how it was like, and how it's has sort of grown as time has gone on. All of these sort of groundbreaking aspects as well will all factor into how you rank it and what it did for the community and so on. So as you can see, there's many different factors that will sort of go into how you rank a map. I personally really like this map, and like I said, it has aged really well. I rank it really highly compared to most other players from what I've seen in the community. I think it has a great map layout. It's very complex, but with water buckets, the 4 different color types of water, the seeds, unique detail around the map. As I said, 2 different boss fights in this map in itself, which is just amazing. Perk spawns changing around, which makes it a bit more random, which actually sometimes spices it up. A wonder weapon, of course, the KT-4, and an incredibly powerful specialist weapon, aka the field upgrade with the skull of Nansapui. It really allows for a unique experience and a memorable map for me, as well as a great sort of replayability aspect too. Like I said, I've come back to this game time and time again. I've played this countless times and never get bored of this map. You can literally do the Easter egg solo on your own with ease. And don't get me wrong, it does have some tedious steps, just like every other Easter egg though, with the likes of the artillery step and having to grow it from a plant. Getting those easier challenges at the start can be annoying as well, because you can get some real awkward ones or time-consuming ones as well. But other than that, the Easter egg is really straightforward. It's fun, and the storyline impact is really cool with Takio's element to the actual storyline itself, leading up to Revelations. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on where you guys rank this map all time though. Am I overgassing this, or like I'll leave this map for you guys to decide in the comments below and where you guys rank this map all time, or also just in Black Ops 3 in general. Is this the worst zombie map in Black Ops 3, or is this actually a really underrated map for the most part? I'm actually truly interested to hear you guys' thoughts, because for the most part I do find from my own sort of what I find online with reviews, Reddit, Twitter and all sorts, that people don't particularly like this map, or they just think it's the weakest of all of the maps by far. But I don't actually think it is, so we'll go over that in another video. But just remember, another player's list is that it's sort of their own opinion, and unless we're all voting off that same criteria, each are to their own views, and so we got to respect what each person's list means to them, as some people just basically base their list on individual experiences, what they found at the time that map was sort of relevant, and what it meant to them during that time it was around. That's just completely fair, and like I said, it's great to hear other players' perspectives, so that is just how lists and sort of rankings are made. But like I said, unless we're basing it all off the same criteria, I think everyone can have their own views, and it's just interested to hear how people rank their own experiences. Now, as for the overall Easter egg experience on this map, like I said, I really enjoy this one, and I think it's a good one to say the least. One I definitely recommend for other players, returning players, or even newer players, definitely to play this one. Of course, there are some real annoying steps, but every map has those aspects, and I don't sort of use them as a factor to even ever hold a map back in my rankings, unless of course it's like a ridiculous step that just makes the map boring or just too tedious to do for an Easter egg sort of aspect. But I do think when you get the hang of this Easter egg, you can fly through this one with ease, even without any gobblegums. Of course, aside from the literal gobblegum that you need, which I'll go over shortly in this video, you'll need one gobblegum in this Easter egg. A great map for having great replayability, a fun Easter egg, which is crucial for me when ranking maps and wanting to play them and go back and actually wanting to play them, not just having a one-off experience. Like having a map to go back to. Like Black Ops 3 is 10 years old at this point, and I still go back and play it. I literally have just finished playing this about a month or two ago, where I played all of the Easter eggs. This is just one of the best games of all time, in my opinion. Now, for this video, this is not a guide, just to be clear. Like, I'm not stupid. I know that no one will be watching this video looking for a guide. After all, this game is 10 years old now, which is pretty sad to think about, to see how quickly time has gone by. But also, this is simply an overview of my thoughts of the map, my personal experience of playing it, also completing the Easter egg, and then also a summary at the end of the video to try and explain the purpose of this series for any newer viewers. As I said at the start, this is episode 8, and there are previous videos on the channel, linked in the description below, and I'm going to continue to make all of the episodes for all of the future maps, and in a different and sort of unique order to my own liking, and going on all the way up to Black Ops 7 when it launches and so on. So just to give you guys a quick overview. Now, as for the Easter egg in itself, the main purpose or your objective of this actual Easter egg in itself is to literally fix the elevator shaft in the actual bunker in itself to access the boss arena below the map, defeat the tree boss, and find old Takeo, who's been imprisoned. Now, to do this, literally, you just need to complete all 3 of your challenges at the ritual site right at the right spawn. As I said before, there's some real awkward ones, but mostly they're all relatively easy, and once you complete them, you will unlock the special weapon, the Skull of Nansapui, which is an amazing special item or field upgrade, whatever you want to call it. And then from there, you basically need to use the skull a few times to reveal the wall in the 115 water room to effectively extend the poster on the wall, which then reveals the elevator shaft in itself. And then from there, you need to go to the elevator shaft by the main entrance, reveal that opening, and find out that the shaft is broken and missing 3 cogs, which you'll need to find. And now, basically, to obtain these 3 cogs, it's important to note that you actually need the wonder weapon in this map, the KT4, in order to actually complete the Easter egg. So to obtain this, you will need to basically obtain the green flare from a zombie below sight or around Lab B. Basically, extract a vial from a spider in Lab A, and then obtain a plant from below the map in the specimen room, which is basically in the underwater caves below the map. And of course, you will not need this KT4 at all times in this Easter egg. You can multitask the earlier steps before you even get to this point. But of course, to get to the actual boss arena itself, you will need to actually upgrade this weapon in itself to get the Masamune. And in order to upgrade this, you need to obtain the plant from below in the water caves again. There's a wall that you basically use to mesmerize and reveal an opening where there's in the underwater cave. Through the hole in the wall, there basically needs to be a plant that you water with multicolored water every round, aka rainbow water, for 3 consecutive rounds, and then on the 4th round you can then grab that plant. You then also need to basically grab the Spider Queen's Fang. By using the regular KT4, destroying the webbed area over by Lab A, you can then enter a mini boss fight, which, let's be honest, you can actually argue that this is an even harder boss fight than the actual boss fight itself, but we'll go over that at the end of the video, of course. And then once you defeat this giant spider, collect its tooth, also grab Widow's Wine, as it's goated, one of the best perks ever made, and then you can just basically get to the final part. And the final part is where you'll need to shock the intercom over at basically at Lab B, and then go underground via the cage, and there'll be a vial of some sort that you can grab, and you can use this to combine with the plant and the fang in this specimen room below the map and craft to actually create the Masamune. Once you have this, you then need to grab or obtain the 3 cogs that are around the map. One can be found using the Anywhere But Here Gobblegum, which takes you to an unreachable room on foot and can only be accessed by this method, where you'll find it on the floor above Lab A. Now, let's be honest now, guys, if you have done this Easter egg before, how many of you guys have forgotten this Gobblegum? Like, I have, and I was pissed. I got so far through until I realized that I did not have this Gobblegum on, and nor did the friend I was playing with at the time. Like, it was the first time I'd come back to doing the Easter egg in so long, and I was just rusty. I had an old Gobblegum set on from like the Rise and Jack or the Shadows or whatever I was using at the time, and I just completely forgot to have this on. Have you guys done this before? Let's be honest. Let me know down below in the comments if you have also made this mistake, because it is critical to actually completing the Easter egg. Now, as for the second cog, this can be found along the zip wire path on the docks area. However, to actually obtain this, you need to basically use an electrocuted shield, and to do that, you have to wait by the ritual site to be struck by lightning, which takes around like 30 to 45 seconds, I believe. And then there's basically go over to Lab A and zap that zip wire using that shield. And then when you're on the zip wire, you then effectively have to just hop off at the right time and land on the dock and collect that second cog, which is just sitting there. Now, I have had a few blunders with this step as well in the past. Like, I'm sure all of us have at some point, where I basically dropped too soon when playing on solo and basically straight up died. Or I've stood there and tried allowing my friends when playing sort of co-op and trying to do this Easter egg and just dropped my friend too early and basically just laughed nervously, because that's all you can pretty much do at this point, right? I mean, what else do you say when you've just dropped your friend off the map, unless you're trolling, of course? And then once you have this second cog, the final one you'll need is basically obtained by shooting down the plane that flies over the map using the artillery cannon or the shell. And then basically with this shell, you will have to grow this from a plant. However, to grow this, you basically need the KT4 and blue water, and you'll basically need to water a plant using a seed or several different plants, of course, for good practice, and basically water it every round and shoot it with the KT4 for 3 consecutive rounds in a row. And then on the 4th round, you have a chance to reveal an artillery shell, which you can then load up the AA gun and shoot down the plane as it flies over the map every like 45 seconds. And then effectively, once you shoot this down, you'll then have sort of 2 or 3 areas areas which you'll have to search for this final part and collect the final cog. Once you have all 3, you can simply insert them into the elevator shaft. It restores the use of this actual elevator shaft in itself, and you can now enter the boss arena. Simple Easter egg, right? There's nothing too complicated about that for the most part, especially when you get the hang of the challenges, the ritual site, and all of the actual sort of special weapons, the gas mask, and so on. Now, below the map, you'll have to use the upgraded KT4. Legit, the only reason you have to upgrade this KT4 is for this final part, shooting the orange marked areas along the tree branches or arms of the boss, and then gain access to the actual boss arena itself. Now, this boss arena is very small and can become very overcrowded with spiders and thrashers, which basically are like the mini bosses on this map. All you need to basically do is legit avoid being hit by the boss's slam attack, the 2 trees on the sort of the left and right side, defeat all of the ads such as the spiders and the thrashers, and then basically when the arms glow orange areas, shoot them with the upgraded KT4, and after the 3rd phase of doing this, you'll have defeated the boss and complete the Easter egg. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when I did this Easter egg, like this was like I think the 3rd attempt of doing this Easter egg in quite a while, and I got very lucky in this clip on this attempt in the video that I did a couple of months ago. I went down and basically as I got up, there was legit one final opportunity that I just fully committed to damaging the boss. I got up, lost all my perks, and realized that the boss was one shot. And if I just quickly saw the orange area and shoot it, then basically I was going to do it. However, there was no doubt that if I messed up this up or didn't go for the boss, that I was a dead man. And to be honest, I should not have even struggled or even gone down in this boss fight in the first place. As I've alluded to all along, it's a fairly easy boss fight and Easter egg in general, but I just wasn't concentrating or whatever reason. Nonetheless, we did it. I completed the Zets Easter egg, and now we're here today with episode 8 of the Zombie series. And now for any of you guys that are still here at the end of the video, firstly, I'd like to thank you for basically watching the content, and hopefully you've enjoyed this series so far to this point. But also, as well as that, I thought it'd be a good time to share exactly what this series is about, as I alluded to earlier in the video, the purpose of these episodes and the structure of this series too. Like I said, what is this series about and the purpose? Effectively, what I came to realize when I wanted to start creating zombies content is that, one, I obviously clearly enjoy and very passionate about zombies in itself, but what I realized is there are so many Easter eggs and experiences that I've got or sort of had over the years that I've kind of forgotten what it was like to play these maps. And what I then realized was I actually wanted to go back and play all of the maps, literally every single map in Call of Duty Zombies history, and play them all over again, doing all the Easter eggs that I can. For the most part, the solo ones will be pretty straightforward, but the ones that you need sort of teammates with, 2 or 4 players, they're the ones that I'm going to struggle for. Trying to get a whole group together can be sometimes difficult. I'm sure you guys know exactly what it's like and can relate to that. But for the most part, I wanted to recreate the memories. I wanted to play these maps again, remind myself of how good they are, and then also create a final ultimate sort of ranking list, because there are some maps that I have recency bias for. There are some maps that I truly just don't really remember or appreciate what it was like to do those maps in their time, and I realized that I actually wanted to go back and just play so many of these cooler maps, especially the Black Ops 4 maps as well, which I know might be quite controversial, because I've played a whole lot of Black Ops 3. This is just like my second home sort of thing. I play this every year, so this is like not that big a deal for me coming back and playing Zets and so on. But for the most part, there are so many other titles that I want to go back and play all of those maps and do all those Easter eggs and share with you guys, more importantly, what it was like to experience these. As I said in previous videos, I have played zombies for 20 years nearly now. Well, I played COD for 20 years, and I played zombies for like 17 years at this point, which is pretty crazy to think about. And I have played pretty much every zombie map all the way through, and there are so many different Easter egg experiences and memories that I want to share and create and archive on this channel, so that I have memories of creating them, playing these maps, and also then sharing with you guys the journey of along the way, in case you guys can appreciate that journey and also relate to it, more importantly, because nostalgia is a big part of playing zombies. Anytime you guys come back to playing zombies, you guys can relate that playing these zombies just reminds you of what it was like to play them in their prime with cool friends or whatever that you had some cool experiences with back in the day. This will remind you of them every single time, no doubt. There's nothing you can do about it. It's literally the most natural thing when playing zombies. You'll remind yourself of playing them, especially when a key thing happens in the map that you even forgot about. It's like unlocking a hidden memory that you didn't know you had, and that's kind of like the key thing I'm trying to share in this story. So just to give you guys an idea of the structure of this series and going forward, I basically sort of like creating a story or a timeline with all of the episodes. So this is episode 8, as I said, and then episode 9 will be about Black Ops 4, episode 10 will be for Gorod Crovey, and so on. I'll work my way all the way through to Black Ops 6, do all the Black Ops 6 Easter eggs, work my way to Black Ops 7 when it comes out. But that's pretty much the structure and the sort of purpose of this series. And with that said, in summary of this episode, I think Zets is a great map, a very fun and replayable experience with an easy enough Easter egg, but more so enjoyable experience with great unique features as well, which makes it sort of stand out and memorable for the most part. Now, I've completed this Easter egg, I think, 6 times now. I'm actually really sad, and I actually note down when I do these Easter eggs for all of the maps, because I want to know how many times I've done them one day when I look back, and I'm glad to have done it, because it's easy to forget who you've done these Easter eggs with, how many times you've done them, and also which maps and modes you've sort of, like, it's just easy, really easy to forget. So that's why I note it down. But like I said, it's pretty sad, but I do it because I want to know, and I want to remember one day when I sort of wrap it all up and don't play zombies anymore. Hopefully that never happens, but you never know, it could happen for whatever reason. So like I said, this was the first time doing the Easter egg solo for me on this map in itself. I'm very proud of myself for doing that, because in the past I've always had like a co-op or like a 4-man team to do these Easter eggs with. But for the most part, that is pretty much it for the video. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, do not forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any comments, tips or tricks about playing zombies, opinions for Black Ops 3 or Zetsubou and Shima in general, or even any suggestions about future videos or episodes that you want to see on the channel, let me know down below and I'll get right back to you. I'm reminisce. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.